What is up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. I'm here with Marshana, Dahlia, Spavento, and our special guest, Luciano, is here. Say hello. And last night, we got 90 Day Fiancé, episode 8. We are 8 episodes in, guys. And there is a lot to talk about. We saw Stephanie actually touch down in Belize, which we're going to talk about more later. But let's talk about Brandon and Julia. So Julia has actually had it with the farm life. And I like to call it unpaid slave labor. But she has gotten to her breaking point, and she called Brandon at work, and she said, look, I can't do this anymore. And I agree with her 100%. She is there to marry Brandon. She is not there to work on anyone's farm or raise anyone's animal. And Brandon is like, oh, I'm trying. Is he trying, though? Do you see him trying?
I don't see Brandon trying at all, other than he's just trying to sleep with her. Like, that's pretty much it. And whenever he would, like, kind of minimize her feelings or try to minimize her feelings and say, oh, well, what's wrong with taking care of cute farm animals? They aren't cute farm animals. She's not a farm girl. And I bet if you had told her that she was going to have to come here as an indentured servant to earn her keep by being your family's farm hand for free or in exchange for room and board, maybe in their mind, this is not it. This is not it. And I understand a lot of these people come from other countries to America and they have a distorted view of what America is. But even for people who are born, oh, hi, honey. Even for people who are born and raised Americans, they would not want to be in that farm life is pretty specific to the kind of person that would be like, yay, I love animals this much. I want to wake up at 6 a.m. and feed them.
Well, what strikes me as odd, and then we'll move on. Don't you think it's odd that as she arrived, they immediately all stopped working the farm and it just became her responsibility? That struck me as odd, because being a farmhand means that you're helping others on the farm. But as she got there, the very next day, that was particularly her job, her duty, and nobody else is helping. And that just strikes me as strange, very strange.
Yeah, it's just weird. You're right. The minute that she got there, it was like, great, we don't need to work on the farm anymore. We can focus on our day jobs. We're out. And it's just so unfair. And it's just so wrong. And, last night on Twitter, for those of you who follow us, we live tweet every single show. So our Twitter handles are going to be in the comment description box below. So make sure you go and follow us there. On Twitter last night, we were all like, but wait, what are her wages? Like, what is happening here? This is honestly, it could be seen as a form of human trafficking, bringing people from another country here to be used as labor, for little to no wages or just in exchange for room and board. So I don't know how Ron, Betty, and or Brandon are all okay with being with they feel so comfortable in what they're doing and they don't see any wrong. They're okay putting it on a international TV show, actually,
I'm waiting to see them get rated. I'm waiting to see it because there's something going on there. And at that, let's leave it at that. And let's talk about Yara and Jovi. So Jovi's at work. Yara takes a pregnancy test. We kind of knew this was coming from last week. But we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know the outcome. So apparently Yara is pregnant. And she's freaking out. She calls her best friend and tells her best friend. And she's like, when are you going to tell Jovi? And she's like, I don't know. So she arrives at the airport to pick him up, and he gets off the plane, walks down the gate at 8:50 a.m. with a big cup of whiskey he's drinking in the morning. So she immediately realizes that this is not the time to tell him that she's pregnant because he's drunk at 8:50 a.m.
It's crazy because it's one thing, no matter what time of day I get on a flight, I'm going to have a drink because I'm a little bit of a nervous flyer and I kind of just want to relax. So there's a difference between getting on a plane and having a drink and being like, I just need to relax. And then coming off the plane with a cup that looks like it's the size for a soft drink with whiskey in it at 8:50 a.m. There is a very, very big difference. And then he smelled like the entire bar, according to her, like you smell like alcohol. I mean, I've said it before, Jovi reminds me of a frat boy. So there's that element to it. It just seems really, really juvenile for someone who's of age, has a great career, is out on his own in the world, has a whole fiance that he brought in from another country, and you're still getting, fall down wasted before 9 a.m.
Right. And I think what struck me as bad was when she said, it's soda. And I was like, don't lie. Like, I hate it when people lie because she has a nose, she has a brain, she can tell, she knows what's going on. Why would you sit there and lie to her knowing what's going on? She's not an idiot. She might be crazy, but she's not an idiot. She knows exactly what's going on. And I hated that. And I feel like that's going to bother her more because she needs to tell him that she's pregnant and he's not giving her any signs that that's a good thing to do right now. So that's what bothers me.
Me too.
So let's talk about Andrew and Amira. We saw Amira land back in France last night, which I'm very happy that she was safe. That was a very terrifying situation. I've never been detained, but from how she described it, it was terrifying. I would have a panic attack. I'm positive I would. And then to not be told why you're being detained, to have no idea that you're going to be detained, it just is sprung on you. I feel like she was traumatized. Meanwhile, cut to Andrew at the resort on his ATV and having ice cream and on the beach and having a massage. The contrast between the two situations was just unbelievable. The fact that he needed the massage because he felt like her situation stressed him out.
You know, the funny thing with Andrew is we said from the beginning, when she was detained in Mexico City, he should have left Puerto Vallarta and flown to Mexico City, because at the very least, yes, they turned her right around and she had to fly out, but maybe he would have had an opportunity to see her even for 30 minutes at the airport, you know? So I'm just kind of like really taken aback by that. And his response to the distress that he kind of really led her to be in, it's not his fault they detained her, but he does bear some responsibility because he's the one who kind of came up with this half-brained scheme to try to get her into the United States. And to see him kind of living in the lap of luxury in Puerto Vallarta was hard. But what was even harder is that when he did speak to her, he was trying to pressure her into doing this again in another country so soon after this happened. She just lands back in France after everything, and you're going to really pressure her to go back and do this again. I was tweeting last night, Amira, girl, we love you. You are absolutely beautiful, completely stunning. I know men who will marry you in a heartbeat, who will treat you way better. You don't deserve somebody who's not going to give regard to your feelings so quickly that they just dismiss it and then ask you to do the same thing that got you into trouble again. Sometimes parents be knowing daddy was right. Amira, daddy was right.
I agree with you 100%. I feel like the fact that he was so insensitive to tell her that, it's like, well, we're just going to have to try to get in another country while her wounds are still fresh. She's still hurting. She's still scared. She's still traumatized. It just was like, I can't even imagine. And then his lack of compassion. He stayed at the resort for 10 days. Like, if I was going to a vacation with someone and they didn't make it, I would try to get a credit for the remaining 9 days and we can try it again. I wouldn't stay and take advantage of the vacation and just ignore the fact that they've been detained and they're not going to be there. That was just insanity. And Amira, please reconsider your standards. I don't know Andrew. I've never met Andrew, but Andrew is not good enough for you. You have to know your worth, and your dad knows your worth. Everyone in America knows your worth. We need you to see it because this is the wrong guy. The wrong guy. All right, guys, that's part one. We're going to be back for part two because we are going to talk about Mike and Natalie and Trish and Stephanie and Ryan, and it's going to get pretty crazy. So thank you so much for joining us for part one. I'm George Mossey. This is Marshana, Spavento, and our little co-host, Luciano. And our Twitters and Instagrams will be at the bottom, and we will see you guys real soon.